G'day, I'm Joe. I bought a boat. This boat to be exact. She's a 29-foot Lidgard trailer sailor. And while she's pretty awesome, it needs some work. Some of that works to make it pretty, some of that works just to make it work. As you can tell though, I'm pretty excited. First I had to replace the dodgy old rusty trailer she came on. So I picked up a new one, we took it down to the local dam, and my dad helped us swap her over. Once she had a new set of wheels, we were finally off to the sea for our first sail. It was a ripper of a time, but some problems definitely came up. The outboard motor didn't spit water and liked to blow a fuse, the house battery died, and best of all, when we got back to the dock, the keel winch failed and we had to sit at the dock for 6 hours and let the tide lower the boat onto the keel. Real fun. So, I have a job list to get us sailing again. Number 1, replace the keel winch. Number 2, fix the outboard motor. Number 3, upgrade the electrical. First things first, replacing the little winch that gave up the go. I wasn't sure exactly what had happened to this winch, but decided it would be best to get it out, have a look and upgrade it with a bigger one. As you can see, the new one's quite a lot larger. This thing will have no issues hauling up the 1-ton keel. As well, I only plan to use about a third of the drum, which means down the track I could have the option to set the winch up as a windlass as well. Also, this pretty pink one, she was on clearance sale, so it was even better. First step though, is to make a bigger bracket for it that will line the winch up with the part of the drum I intend to use. Now that it is mounted, give it a quick test. She's ready to roll. I do, however, need to replace this pink rope with the original dyneema so it can still run through the blocks, as well as switching the side of the drum that the rope anchors to. This is to keep it in line and as close to the back of the keel case as possible. It was while I was taking the dyneema off the old winch that I came across the problem. The small drum had actually sheared off on one side, causing the whole winch to jam. Maybe the loads were a bit too big for this winch, but it probably had a lot to do with its age as well. Either way, I think it's a good thing we're changing it up to a bigger option. But now we've got that problem solved, I'm going to take the rope off, give it a quick wash, and then mount it onto the new winch. the old Dyneema rope on, a little bit of stain to protect my new wooden blocker. She's ready to go back in the boat. I definitely had to cut some bits out, but that's alright because down the track I'm going to redo the interior as well. At the moment, it's all just about getting the boat working again. Finish rerunning the ropes, reattach the pulleys, and hope that she's ready to go. Now that the winch is fixed, it's on to number 2 on the list, fixing the outboard motor. The biggest problem I had is that it's not spitting any water, so I'm going to need to replace the impeller. However, this thing had a few little surprises for me. As you can see, there's the old impeller with its 4 little blades that have broken off and got sucked into the outboard, and there's the new one. However, I'm going to have to replace the housing as well. So I bought a repair kit. Thought I was all good to go, could just whack that thing straight in, and then I went to pull the old one out, and the housing snapped on me. Oh well, have to order another one. Before I could attack replacing the housing, I had to empty the oil out of the lower unit. That stuff definitely hadn't been changed in a long time either, so good that I'm doing it while I'm here. Not sure about the colour of that oil. I thought at first I was going to get lucky and be able to pull the housing out from the top, and it was just stuck in there due to the corrosion. But I quickly figured out the drive shaft was going to have to come at the top before I could get it out. So I had to dismantle the lower unit. Probably for the best anyway, because I could do with a bit of a service. I began pulling it apart, having no idea what I was doing, and just hoping that I could put it all back together again. that's me looking at a pin that I have no idea where it came from. That was fun when I put it back together. Finally, with a bit of wiggling and leverage, the culprit came free. Now we can get to putting the new one in and putting it back together. Hey look, that's where that pin goes. You may remember from earlier in this video, I also mentioned that the outboard had the issue of blowing a fuse very regularly. I did get to the bottom of this issue and resolve it, however I didn't film it. It turned out that the outboard's rectifier regulator was faulty, leading the stator to blow the main fuse quite regularly. Once I replaced the rectifier regulator, the issue was resolved and the electrics of the outboard seemed to run great again. first test, when I chucked it back on, she started up no problems, but I don't think there was enough pressure coming from the hose, and my muffs aren't that good, so she was only dribbling out water. Plan B, switch to a big old bucket, and there we go, that's a good stream. Alright, that's the outboard engine fixed, now on to upgrading the electrical. First things first, a new 100 amp hour lithium battery for the house. I built a box for this thing, and it works reasonably well with a DC-DC charger on top and some 12 volt outlets. Got a new solar panel to charge it, but I do think that down the track I'll change the setup of the battery so that it all fits into the boat a little bit nicer. For the time being, this thing works. Meanwhile, I went through the boat and stripped out all the old wires. It was an absolute bird's nest in there and I had no idea where anything went. So I wanted to start from scratch. 1, so that I knew where everything went, and 2, so that I could replace any old corroded wires. Wiring up the boat was some late nights for me, and as you can see here, yeah, I'm struggling a bit. These 3 are supposed to be 1. Time for bed, I think, mate. Once the electrical was done, I did some quick sewing on the boom bag. Then we were back down to the water, rigging the boat up and heading out to see how she went. After that, we took the boat down to the boat ramp, rigged her up, dropped her in the water, and we were all set. So far so good. The keel went down without issue. Fingers crossed it comes back up. We headed out, me and my friend Jack, enjoyed a couple great nights out in the water. Found a couple of nice little anchorages, did some great sailing. The boat was zipping along, we were having a blast. This is us raising sail while we're still on anchor, lifting the anchor and sailing away, no motor needed. I can however note, the outboard was working beautifully. Need to use it. Yeah, the land stopped covering us. After getting some miles under the keel and some beautiful sailing conditions, we made it out to the heads and found some pretty big swell rolling through. So busted out the board and took turns jumping off and paddling over to the waves, while the other would just motor up and down picking us up. It was pretty cool, but I definitely got rolled on my first wave.
Alright, dude. Catch ya.
I definitely got pounded once or twice, but ended up catching this minute-long ride, which is pretty ripper. And this is me jumping over, about to go for another paddle. My leg rope gets caught around the ladder, Jack doesn't realise and guns the throttle. It's pretty funny, especially as he took a picture before he stopped to help me. Yeah, this guy. We wrapped up that trip with a night in a beautifully calm anchorage. And a weekend later, I decided it was time to take the family out for a trip. So we motored out in the evening in some beautiful conditions. Found ourselves a nice little anchorage, the kids had a ball, and I even managed to squeak in a nice sail with Raffy the next morning. I had the little man on the tiller. It was zipping along doing 6.7 knots under the spinnaker in some beautiful conditions. What a time. Well, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching, guys. Next time, I'm getting to make the boat looking a little bit more pretty. See yous. Oh, and look at that. The keel came up too.